welcome to Argumentative Indians. I'm Yajur Arora, and my guest today is Tanushree Pandey, renowned broadcast and multimedia journalist currently working with ThePrint. Tanushree is well known for her deep dive investigative stories and eye-opening ground reports. This was distinctly exemplified in her courageous reporting of the hurried and forceful cremation of the Hathras rape victim by the Uttar Pradesh police, despite the fervent pleas of her family to allow them to see her. Tanushree, thank you for joining us. Today is May 3rd, observed world over as the Press Freedom Day. and it is an opportunity to assess the state of press freedom in our great nation. Democracy is considered as the form of government that is most conducive to free speech. Then how is it that India, the world's largest democracy, is ranked among the worst countries on the planet when it comes to press freedom? According to Reporters Without Borders, a global media watchdog, India is one of the most dangerous countries on the planet for journalists trying to do their job properly. They rank us behind dictatorships and authoritarian states like Afghanistan, Myanmar, and Zimbabwe. Tanushree, as a professional journalist, do you agree with this assessment?
First of all, thank you so much for having me, for inviting me. It's an absolute honor to be able to speak about, about this profession, the fraternity, and also happy Eid. And there is another festival today, right? Akshay Tritiya. So happy Eid and Akshay Tritiya to all of the people who are joining in. And yes, as far as your question goes, absolutely, I 200% agree with with the study that India is right now one of the worst countries as far as the press freedom is concerned. And I think it has slipped down by 8 points. It was initially 142 out of the 180 countries which are being, judged on the basis of this parameter. And now it has slipped down to 150. So basically, मुझे लग रहा है इंडिया से नीचे क्या नॉर्थ कोरिया, चाइना ऐसी कंट्रीज ही होंगी जहाँ पे आप कुछ नहीं लिख सकते हैं. And we shouldn't be proud at all if this is where we stand as far as the press freedom is concerned. And Yajur, the question you have just asked me, that is it dangerous to be a journalist in India? 200% yes. It is absolutely dangerous right now to be a journalist in India. But again, it's not a question which can be answered in a very simple yes or no. It's not that black and white. It's literally a very big, a huge gray area which lies in between. And I'll tell you why. Because this profession, journalist, it's the fourth pillar of democracy, and it's a huge responsibility. We might not even realize how big this responsibility is, but right now journalists have the biggest responsibility on their shoulders to just show the reality of this country as it is, without having any biases, without following any particular ideology. Yes, you can be a big a big fan of one politician or the other, but you need to just keep those biases and keep those ideologies and favoritism at home when you are reporting and when you're doing a journalistic work. But that is not happening today in our country. And in fact, I would like to say that this particular term, journalist, is being misused left, right, and center. I mean, when you ask me that, Tanushree, is it dangerous to be a journalist in our country? I can tell you, yes, absolutely yes, because I feel danger, because I know I am doing a truthful job. I'm completely unbiased. But there are people, and there are many of them, hundreds of them, who are calling themselves journalists. और आप journalistic काम तो छोड़ ही दीजिए कि उन्होंने आज तक लाइफ में कोई स्टोरी नहीं किया है, but इसके अलावा भी people who are spreading hate day in, day out, who are spreading misinformation, they are calling themselves journalists. So I don't think so those people are in danger. In fact, those people feel all the more secure right now. They have somebody's...
Tanushree, what danger do you feel? Like, what are you afraid of? What worries you?
I mean, any journalist today, Yajur, so we are, we are journalists. We are the mirror of the society. It's as simple as that. आप उसमें expose कीजिए, आप उसमें unearth कीजिए. You can expose somebody, you can expose a scam, you can unearth, something which is not there in the public forum. You can basically bring somebody's story to the fore. Whatever you are doing, you cannot play with the facts. You have to show the things as they are. And now that we are doing it, Yajur, I think, and it's no rocket science. I mean, most of the things we are doing, we are showing the people what things are, the ground reality. It's mostly anti-establishment. And I mean, obviously, there is a government which is, at the center from the last, what, 8 years now, 7 years now,
8 years, yeah.
and 8 years now, right? इतना कुछ अगर देश में हो रहा है और सोचिए अगर मुझे प्राइस लाइस पे अगर मुझे दिखाना है कि देखिए यहाँ पे पिछले 5 साल से महंगाई बहुत बढ़ रही है या मुझे अगर ये दिखाना है किसी को दैट अच्छा ये एक जगह है जहाँ पे खाना नहीं मिल रहा है या जहाँ पे पानी नहीं पहुंचा है अब तक who do you think I should blame? And I am not blaming anybody. I am leaving it to the people to question the people at power. I mean, we select, we opt, we vote for a government.
So you're basically saying that you are not partisan, you're not for one party or another, but as a journalist,
absolutely,
you try to make the government, but as a journalist, you're going to hold the government in power accountable for all the problems that are faced by the society, and you are going to raise these problems, whether it's inflation or it's other kinds of issues. So, but my question is, do you feel somehow being stifled? Like, do you feel that you don't have enough freedom to hold the government accountable, to criticize what is going wrong with us? Do you feel afraid sometimes when you're reporting on these things?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I was coming to that because I think I just got carried away because we really want to answer this that it is so suffocating today to if you want to become a truthful journalist. I think it is one of the most difficult jobs right now which you can pursue in our country. I always tell people, I tell my mother that I'm never going to encourage my kids to become journalists if things remains the same, because it's not just suffocating, it's going to take your mental health and physical, absolutely physical also, and also your mental health completely down. So definitely, I feel stifled. I reported the one story you mentioned, Yajur, the Hathras story. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with you, with me, with any government. A girl, a 16-year-old woman who comes from, a so-called low caste, underprivileged background. She was a Dalit. She gets gang raped. Her medical was not done properly, the evidences were not collected properly, and the news couldn't even reach the media until and unless the girl was literally fighting for her life in a hospital in the national capital. Until then, absolutely nobody from the national media even knew about this particular incident. It's okay. The incident happened, the girl came, she lost her life, she succumbed to the injuries, and then we started reporting. I was the person, and with me, a lot of other people, a lot of other journalists. We went to this village called Bhulgadi in Hathras district of Uttar Pradesh. Now, a normal person would feel that, acha, abhi to rape ho gaya hai, the crime has already taken place. Now, okay, it's very sad that we couldn't stop the crime. Now we need to question the police. But now the crime has stopped. Now the girl has succumbed to her injuries, or ab khatam ho jayega. Now there is no more injustice which can possibly be done to the girl, to the victim, or to the victim's family. But then you are absolutely highly mistaken. And it just happened that we reached Bulgari, we reached this particular village, and it was, it was 12:31. It was around 1, and most of the journalists went back to their hotel. It's a very small village. There is only one hotel in the entire city, and it was taken over by all the journalists. So everybody left. Me and another of my colleague, so we somehow, I don't know, like we had this gut feeling that something can go wrong in this particular village today. And we stayed back, and we couldn't have even imagined that in our wildest dreams that a rape victim would be forcefully cremated, her pyre would be forcefully and against the will of a family would be lit by police officials in a hush situation. So just imagine, a girl, she has been gang raped, then she died. Her father and mother, her brothers, her entire family are never going to see her again. Then you also snatch away the last right of the, of conducting a funeral, of the last right. आपने वो हक भी माँ बाप से ले लिया. The mother was literally crying, and she lied in front of the ambulance, and she was crying, and all she could tell the police officers in front of me that, can you please let me see my daughter once. The police officials did not, because obviously they had their own reasons. But whatever this is, it was a big violation of the human rights, which they could not do. But the police did. They went ahead, and we also did our job. I remember telling the cops on the ground that, that fateful night, that, sir, I really hope you realize that I am recording every bit. I am recording each and every bit, and I'm going to put it out. But they were somehow so confident. And see what happened later. I have an FIR against me, filed by one of one of these random MLAs of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they have put allegations that somehow I manipulated the victim's family. I mean, I mean, it had
But
nothing to do with me. I was
but they didn't.
just happened to be there. So this is just one of the things. And also, I really would also like to remind you and the entire all the people who are joining us of my privilege. My name is Tanushree Pandey. I am, a privileged person in this country. I can still say a lot of things and get away. Had it been a Muslim journalist in my place, or had it been a journalist, a female or a male journalist from one of the underprivileged caste, he or she would definitely had a lot to face. They let me go very easily, and but I still keep reminding myself of the privileges. This is one of the privilege I have. But do you understand? Siddiqui Kappan was one of the journalists who is still in the prison. It's been more than 2 years that Hathras took place. Siddiqui Kappan was a journalist from Kerala. He was on his way to report on that particular matter, and now he's languishing in a prison for the last 2 years. Because why? Because the government felt that he was a part of some sort of a conspiracy. What possible conspiracy can we journalists be a part of? A girl has been gang raped. She has been murdered. Your police officials, your system has the audacity, has the guts to forcefully cremate her. They get caught on camera. There is a case running. There are two separate cases running in two separate courts, and then you put a journalist behind a bar for a conspiracy. I mean, what conspiracy? हम लोग क्या कर लेंगे? आप लोग मतलब, I mean, I don't understand, but this is I mean, see,
Well,
Yajur, I was very young when, yeah, there were other governments at the helm of affairs, but I can't blame them, right? वो लोग कुछ गलत होंगे तभी आज वो पावर में नहीं है. So there is no point blaming, past government कि वो पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने इस समय गलत किया था तो आज भी गलत चलेगा. अरे वो उनको स्वर्ग सिधारे हुए बहुत टाइम हो गया है. He has passed away long back, and people who are in power. We need to hold them accountable, not the ones who are not in power. That's stupid.
There is an observation. A lot of people feel that like it doesn't matter which party, which state. Different parties are there in different states, and different successive national governments we have witnessed. There is not much appreciation for press freedom. That is the general impression. It doesn't matter which party is in power. Do you think it's because the people of this country, our society doesn't value journalist freedom as much as, let's say, other societies? That is why we are ranked so poorly. So like, instead of blaming the government, we need to sensitize the society that jo aap log kar rahe ho, what you're doing as a journalist is very important. Otherwise, we will never know the truth. But the fact that an ordinary average Indian doesn't get so moved when you talked about some journalists who were arrested or who were murdered, why don't we see lakhs of people come out with candlelight vigils for them or support? If that happened, the government would be scared to do something against. So instead of blaming the governments or the parties, is really the problem with the society that doesn't really value a journalist as much as they should? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, 200%. But I again feel, I mean, हम लोग के पास सब लोग, I mean, this people of this country have their own jobs to do. They have responsibilities. I mean, I also keep fighting with my friends, with my family, that why don't you guys stand up for what is important as much as I do? But they say that, Tanushree, what? We have other jobs too. I mean, हम लोग के पास समय नहीं है किसी चीज के लिए झगड़ने का, लड़ने का, चलेगा. So I completely understand. I understand even if definitely they should do. I mean, I'll be the happiest person if I get arrested tomorrow and if people take a stand for me that, what, we are going to sit on a hunger strike until and unless she's not being released. I will be the most happiest person if we do it for all the journalists across the world. But it's not people's mistake also. Do you? ये हम लोग की गलती है. हम लोग आज अपना standard कहाँ पे लेके आए हैं? How do you expect people to how do you expect people to trust journalists when the mainstream, the so-called mainstream we call, the news channel, the star anchors are spreading hate day in, day out. They are spreading misinformation. How do you expect people to trust a journalist?
I wanted to come to
so
this
definitely
actually.
there have been yeah. So there have been a huge trust deficit. There has been a huge mistrust amongst people, and which I can completely understand. But yes, you are right. We shouldn't hold the government responsible for each and everything. Government definitely is doing this to us, but we expect the people of this country to take a stand for us. Because Yajur, I will tell you something very honestly. I can give you names. I know some brilliant journalists who are going against all odds. They do not have money. We are earning peanuts. If I tell you my salary, you would say that, Tanushree, leave whatever channel you're working for, come join Argumentative India. I will give you more salary. And I'm not even kidding. And I have a mother to take care of. I am the sole owner of my family. And I mean, we are doing, we are going against all odds. We have threats. I just did a story against, I just did a story and a simple story about the psyche of these young kids who are holding swords and who are feeling comfortable around guns. Hanuman Jayanti and all these festivals used to be fun for us. कि अरे आज सब मिलके बैठेंगे, थोड़ा बात होगी. अभी बन गया है बच्चों के लिए, कुछ बच्चों के लिए, और कुछ एक सोसाइटी है जिनके लिए प्रोवोक करना, तो उनको प्रोवोक कौन करवा रहा है? So the story was about the psyche of people who are ready to kill, and somehow I somehow figured out in the story that there was an involvement of not just the VHP and the Bajrang Dal. There was the main accused of the Jahangirpuri clashes was in fact used to run an RSS Shaka. However, obviously the organization distanced itself, but that person used to run an RSS Shaka for not 1 or 2 years, for the last more than 10 years. And there, all the kids were being brainwashed. It's a simple story. You have no idea the kind of threats I got for this kind of a simple story. I mean, I'm not blaming any government. I'm not blaming any particular person. And Op India, which is a website, we all know who runs that website. That website did a story against me. They went absolutely gaga. Or they were so obsessed with me. They wrote Tanushree Pandey about more than 20-30 times in one article, and they said that I'm an alleged journalist. That actually makes me laugh. But and then you will not believe, I can send you the screenshot. There were barrage of these random hollow threat messages that घर से उठवा लेंगे, तेरे को पता नहीं घटिया चीज है, तेरे को देख लेंगे, उठा के यहाँ पे 10 लड़के ये करके वहां फेंक देंगे. See, I am not scared. I mean, I was never scared. That's why I'm in this profession in the first place and doing my job as truthfully as I can do. मुझे कहीं से पैसा नहीं मिल रहा, मतलब मेरे को कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. I'm only doing it because it's my passion. I feel so passionately about this profession. But
we have seen some of these things play out in reality, right? With Gauri Lankesh, we saw that.
Yeah, absolutely.
India has witnessed some of the highest number of journalist murders, which is why we are rated so poorly by RSF. So some of this has, I agree with you, a lot of this is just words, but some of the worst has actually played out in India. But so I want to go back to the point about the journalist image, the trust thing that you mentioned. So if you think about it, you yourself said that some of the journalists are just spreading hate, misinformation, right? And the same way, a counter publication can accuse you of tarnishing the image of the state or tarnishing the image of the state police or blah, 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 blah. As an average person, as a lay person, as me, how do I tell which journalist is honest and which one do I need to stand for and which one do I need to shut off? If you have any guidance for like an ordinary person, how do I tell?
Very good question. Thank you so much you asked me this question. देखिए ये जो बहुत simple सा है, इतना बड़ा rocket science नहीं है, and I am just a graduate, I would really like to put this forward. I haven't even studied journalism. I come from a very modest background. मैं सच में आज बताना चाहूंगी, मेरे में ज्यादा मैं बहुत बड़ी एक्सपर्ट और बहुत इंटेलिजेंट इंसान नहीं हूँ. तो अगर मैं देख के ये बता सकती हूँ कि नहीं ये चीज, हाँ डेफिनेटली देयर आर पर्सपेक्टिव्स. आप इस पर्सपेक्टिव से देखेंगे तो आपको ऑप इंडिया भी अच्छा लग सकता है, आप उस पर्सपेक्टिव से देखेंगे तो शायद आपको तनुश्री पांडे का जुकाम भी अच्छा लग सकता है. बट आपको कुछ तो आपकी जजमेंट होगी ना. All I am saying is open your eyes. I never say, even if you see my Instagram or Twitter, I never say that, go and hate those people or love these people. I always say that, guys, open your eyes, make your own judgments, form your own opinions. Now there is a COVID. There is a situation, people are not getting oxygen. We are fighting in, day out, not getting oxygen. Kuch nahi ho pa raha. Now, who do you think? Who do you think we should pin the blame on? I am not. I mean, why is it considered that if we are holding a government responsible, we are being anti-national? I'm so sorry. I love my country more than anybody else in this on this planet. But if I have voted for this government, I have voted for the BJP. I would want to tell you last year. But if they are doing something wrong, I have all the rights as a citizen to tell these people that, guys, this is not right. This is not right, and you are wrong. So why am I being held, and why are there are people who are suddenly coming to attack you now? You're doing, if there is one topic of discussion, you can have your own opinion, I can have my own opinion, we can convince each other that no, Yajur, this is right, no, Tanushree, this is right. But I will not come after you. I will not come to attack you if your opinions do not agree with your opinions do not align with mine. It's completely fine. My point is that if something is going wrong in this country, who do you think I should blame for? Rahul Gandhi, why? He doesn't hold any position. Imran Khan, I'm sorry, he's nobody for our country. Some North Korea minister, some Joe Biden. 1 minute, no, never. I am going to hold my people responsible because you are the people we voted for. हम लोगों के पास नहीं है देखने का समय कि टैक्स का पैसा कहाँ जा रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. इसीलिए सरकार चुनते हैं लोग, क्योंकि हम लोगों के पास और भी बहुत काम है करने के लिए. पर अगर कुछ ठीक नहीं हो रहा, we have all the rights. I have all the rights in my personal capacity. Forget as a journalist, even as a citizen, to say that this is wrong and this is right. Now a clash happens. I tell you one quick example to tell you that which publication is right, which publication is wrong. A clashes happen. दोनों तरफ से गलती हुई, किसने प्रोवोक किया, किसने क्या किया. It's a matter of investigation. Police is going to do a thorough investigation. Our job is to put the facts out. Our job is to tell people that, ask people that why are you doing this? अच्छा, आपको नफरत है ना, किसी एक कम्युनिटी से नफरत है, आपने ऐसा क्यों किया? आपको क्या मिल गया इससे? आपको क्या मिल गया? Our job is to just get the facts out, get people's psyche, put it as it is, and then let people decide. I am not going out and calling any particular community people jihadis. I am not going out, and even the ones who were holding swords, I am not calling them that you are terrorists. I know they are not. Of course they are not. They are definitely spreading terror, but they are also coming from. It's coming from somewhere. It's an extreme point of view. But मैं आपसे लड़ाई करने नहीं जाऊंगी. मैं आपको समझा सकती हूँ. And this is the simple job I am doing. Now the other publications, they are spreading hate, and as adults, अगर मुझसे कोई बच्चा पूछे कि हमें नहीं समझ आ रहा है कि किसको सपोर्ट करना है, किसको नहीं, I can still understand. As adults, if we really cannot figure out that if we cannot separate the ones who are spreading hate day in day out, मतलब उसमें कोई फिल्टर नहीं है. नफरत is the word in capitals जो वो लोग फैला रहे हैं. अगर हम उसमें भी नहीं अभी डिस्टिंग्विश कर पा रहे हैं तो समय लगेगा शायद थोड़ा. But
Tanushree, one of the challenges is that in the age of social media, not just in India but all over the world, people tend to believe in whoever conforms to their worldview. So you can be bringing all the facts and figures and photographs out there, but if your main argument does not align with my worldview, then I'm likely to find you less credible than another reporter who's kind of conforming. I remember you wrote a brilliant story on honor killing. Now, when I read that story, I'm like, she loves her country, so she feels really sorry for our countrymen who have to go through this. And that is why she's bringing out this social evil which still exists in our society so that we can move forward. So to me, that is your love for your country. Another person could say that she's trying to malign India. She's trying to make us look like a backward country. Why is she mocking our traditions and our culture? And so there is completely two different worldviews. In one, another person is likely to question your. So when we say
I have a great answer for this.
Yeah, please.
I mean, yes, I love my, I mean, oh my God, I mean, I can't prove, I am not going to even explain. I love my country. I'm born here. I have never even stepped out. I have no plans to ever go out and settle out of this country because I love this country. And can I tell you something? All the people, this is very simple. आप journalist की बात छोड़ दीजिए. All the people I love in my life, I always tell them. I definitely appreciate when they do the good work. That is always there. But I always tell them when they are wrong. And I expect people to do the same. अगर मुझे ऐसा लगता है यजोर, this is completely my opinion, please correct me if I'm wrong, and I can be totally wrong. If somebody loves me, I would want that person to come and tell me that we feel, you are doing this wrong. We feel that there is a setback or there is something wrong with this, so that I can improve myself. Same is with the country.
But
We
you
are
wouldn't,
not going to
but
hide.
you wouldn't like if your you like it if your friend comes and tells you
Why
that
not?
Tanushree, this is wrong.
Absolutely yes.
Wait,
Ab-
let me finish.
नहीं
If
नहीं
your
इसी
if your
इसी को
let me
इसी
finish,
को
let me finish. If your friend comes and tells you that Tanushree, this is wrong, maybe you should fix it. You like that. But if she goes and puts it in the magazine or the newspaper that Tanushree is wrong about this, that will strain your relationship.
so
I'm just
no, 1 minute,
making up
but
a
we are talking
hypothetical.
about two very different, we are talking about two very different things. Just, I mean, as a journalist, I am not going to write about what is happening in Pakistan or what is happening in the states or what is happening in China or North Korea. Definitely, foreign affair editors write about that also. But as a journalist in this country, I am not going to show you. Wow, see, there are flowers all around. There is so much good to eat. वो हो गया, वो अच्छा हो गया, उसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट का स्कोप नहीं है. जहां इम्प्रूवमेंट का स्कोप है उन चीजों को हम दिखाएंगे. So every time somebody tells me, Tanushree, why don't you show positive news? Why don't you show good news? I said, but bro, there is just आपको पॉजिटिविटी तो आपको दिख रही है ना, आप जाइए उसको अप्रिशिएट करिए. Our job as journalists is to show, is to become the mirror of the society. If something is going wrong in the society, we need to show that to public so that it can improve. What else? I mean, what are we getting? I mean, just imagine, right? And there are people who have chosen their agendas, who are, they might be getting some sort of perks or money. I do not know. I do not know. I can talk about myself and I can talk about all the people whose work I share. Yeah, we have nothing to do. कल मुझे I will get a job in any other profession so easily. I will be earning so much more than this. But this is not just a profession for me. This is when I say that journalism is the fourth pillar of democracy, and when I read that and when I know that, I really believe in it. That we are the fourth pillar of democracy. We need to show people what the situation, the ground reality in the country is as it is. उसको छुपाने से, उसको hide करने से, it's not going to be of any benefit for our country. We will move backwards. अगर मैं कल को छुपा दूंगी कि नहीं कोई मर्डर नहीं हो रहा, women safety in Delhi is wow, we feel like Amsterdam. It's not. बहुत अच्छी बात है. किसको बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं हम
Just
लोग? किसको who am I trying to fool? This is
just
as simple
just
as
like
that.
just like there's no crime in North Korea, nothing ever goes wrong in North Korea.
Yeah, nothing ever goes wrong. Wow, the situation is absolutely beautiful. Let's go there and party. It's as simple as that.
Tanushree, I want to ask you something about the journalism fraternity. So let's not go into left-wing journalists, right-wing journalists, all sorts of journalists are there. Everybody has their view, and I think as long as everybody gets to talk, say their opinion out freely, our democracy is in good shape. But the question about whether India is a dangerous place for journalists, do you think everybody agrees in this fraternity, or is the journalist community divided on this question? You agree with this premise that India is dangerous. Do you think all your fellow journalists on the left, right, everywhere, they also feel the same way?
सबसे पहली बात जो मैं बता रही थी, जो मैं पहले आंसर कर रही थी जिसमें आपने मुझे रोका बीच में. देखिए, मैं खुद को जर्नलिस्ट बुला रही हूँ. एक दूसरी पब्लिकेशन जो बिल्कुल, मतलब अभी मैं क्या कहूँ, वो बिल्कुल वो नफरत पे चल रहे हैं, नफरत फैलाते हैं दिन रात बैठ के, वो भी खुद को जर्नलिस्ट बुला रहे हैं. Now, I do not own this entire profession. I do not own the fraternity. They can also call themselves journalists. I'm also calling myself journalist. Now, there are people who are literally working on the government's agenda day in, day out. उनके पास कोई काम नहीं है. वो लोग भी खुद को जर्नलिस्ट बुला रहे हैं. सब खुद को जर्नलिस्ट बुला सकते हैं. पर मैं आपसे आज एक चीज कहूंगी, अर्जुन. All those people, you know how you can actually make a decision who to trust and who not to. All the people who are feeling bloody secure today, who know that somebody has our back, we can say anything and get away with that. We can just spread hate and more hate amongst people, and we can get away with that. In fact, we may just get a Z plus or a Y plus Y category security. वो लोग को कोई डर नहीं है, and I don't think so. In my opinion, they can go about and call themselves journalists for all I care. But in my opinion, and with all due respect, I really do not feel that these people are holding the very ethics of this profession. And in my opinion, they are not journalists. Now, one more thing, Yajur, you just said that, let's not categorize journalists as left wing, right wing. I do not understand why does that happen. If I am showing something not, अगर मैं दिखा रही हूँ कि देखिए ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिला है आज की डेट में, लोग मर गए हैं, एक ऑक्सीजन के लिए लोग मर गए हैं, कि आप प्लीज इसमें सरकार को बोलिए कि सरकार ने हमें क्यों नहीं ऑक्सीजन दिया है. That if that makes me a left wing or a Pakistani lover or some shit like that, a right wing, I really do not care. Why are we being categorized as left wings and right wings? All the journalists who are really doing this, following this passion by the morals and the ethics of it, I don't think so. They have to be. They are supporting any sides. They are not. They are just reporting the facts, bringing out the truth as it is. उसमें अगर आपको बुरा लग जा रहा है कि अरे इन्होंने तो सरकार के खिलाफ बोल दिया, इसका मतलब ये लोग एंटी नेशनल्स हैं. आपकी सोच और आपका आईक्यू बहुत 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 छोटा है. आप लोग हमारा कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ रहे हैं, आप लोग अपना ही बिगाड़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि दिस वे द कंट्री इज मूविंग बैकवर्ड्स. इफ यू कैन नॉट हियर द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ योर ओन कंट्री, एंड नॉट इवन कंट्री, आई एम नॉट सेइंग, आई हैव नेवर सेड दैट इंडिया इज दैट, oh my god, I fight with I fight with everybody that our country is the best country, and I am not even going to dignify that conversation by explaining myself. I am blaming the government for certain things. I am not blaming the country. I mean, this is my country. I am born here. My parents are born here. I love this. Why am I going to criticize my own country? देश कोई खराब नहीं होता, लोग कोई खराब नहीं होते. जो लोग पावर में होते हैं, जो लोग पॉलिटिक्स में होते हैं, वो लोग कुछ करते हैं. I always say this: riots, and whenever a riot or a clash take place, if you go deep down, if you go to the root of the root cause, you will always realize that people were actually provoked. They were provoked by political persons to fight. लोग नहीं मरना चाहते एक दूसरे को काट के. ये जो नफरत आज हमने देश में देख रहे हैं, आपको क्या लग रहा है ये आपने और मैंने स्टार्ट किया है? ये हमने स्टार्ट नहीं किया है. ये कहीं टॉप से, इट इज ट्रिकलिंग डाउन फ्रॉम द एब्सोल्यूट टॉप टू द बॉटम. So when I say that, when you ask me this question, that do all the journalists feel dangerous? Do all the journalists feel that there is danger in press freedom today in our country? I don't think so. If you go and ask this question to the owner of Republic Channel, or to I don't want to take names here. If you ask this question to a lot of other people, they are going to say that no, absolutely not. We feel secure. Even what? We have security at the drop of a hat. हमें कभी भी कुछ होगा, हमें सिक्योरिटी मिल जाएगा. पर आप उनसे जाके पूछिए जिनको रात दिन थ्रेट्स आ रहे हैं. मैं आपको नाम दे सकती हूँ ऐसे 20, ऐसे 30, ऐसे 50 जर्नलिस्ट का, जो लोग रात अपना फोन खोलते हैं और उनको लिखा होता है, अगर लड़की है तो लिखा होता है कि तुझे घर पे आके रेप करके उठा के फेंक देंगे, और अगर लड़का है तो लिखा है कि गला काट के फेंक देंगे. तो हमारे सरकार के बारे में खराब हो रहा है. वी आर नॉट इवन. डू यू थिंक आवर मेंटल हेल्थ डू नॉट गेट अफेक्टेड डे इन डे आउट? हम लोग किसके लिए कर रहे हैं काम? अगर हम लोगों को दिखाने के लिए कर रहे हैं, उनको अपडेट करने के लिए कर रहे हैं, उन्हें एडुकेट करने के लिए कर रहे हैं, अवेयर करने के लिए कर रहे हैं, और वो सेम लोग अगर हमें आके गालियां देते हैं, हम लोग को, आप सोचिए हमें कैसा लगता होगा. And also, Yazur, it would have taken me, and it would have taken all the journalists who are doing truthful journalism absolutely 2 seconds to sell our souls and, take salaries in lakhs and show what the governments want us to show. You think I never have been encountered with that offer? I have been given that offer more than 10 times. That, you are such a good journalist, you speak so well, you look fine. Can you just come on this side and show and just go align with our agendas? It's me, and it's all those truthful journalists, all those honest journalists who have said no. We are going to be truthful and honest to our profession, not to a political party, or not to some certain people who are abusing us. No, we are truthful to our profession, and that's why we have said no. And those people are feeling dangerous in our country today because either they have been they are they are welcomed with FIRs or threat messages. आपको इतना threat आएगा day in day out कि आप एक समय पे खुद ही छोड़ देंगे. The pressure tactics these people built, इनको कुछ नहीं करना है. They have an entire army, troll army, if not troll army. They have these extreme Hindutva men who are ready to kill. You never know. कल आप सड़क पे चल रहे हो सकता है आपके मुंह पे एसिड फेंक दिया. क्या कर लेंगे आप? कोई नहीं खड़े होने वाला आने वाला ना. मेरी जिंदगी खराब, मेरे घर वालों की जिंदगी खराब. But still I am doing this job. Just imagine why I'm doing this job, because I'm honest to this profession. Somebody has to do it. Otherwise, who is going to document the times? Those people are feeling 200%, in danger in today's India.
Let me ask you this. If you knew of a journalist who has a very counter view to what you have, she's basically, let's say he or she is reporting things that you don't agree with, you don't think is honest journalism. If they were subject to these kind of threats, would you stand by them? Would you go and condemn that? Like,
can you just repeat the question? So sorry.
Of course. अगर कोई और journalist है जिसके साथ आप बिल्कुल agree नहीं करते, she or he, उनकी जो भी reporting है आपको लगता है कि बहुत गलत है, they are not honest journalists. But अगर उनके साथ ये होता है कि they are being threatened by they are receiving these kinds of threats, would you go and stand by them in solidarity as a journalist, even if you disagree?
Absolutely, yes. And not just me, I can speak for all these honest journalists. Whenever any journalist, irrespective of what ideology those people follow, आपको कहीं पे भी कुछ भी हुआ, we are the first people to, take a stand. In fact, Yajur, I'm going to say, I really wish I could play that video here. So I'll tell you, this is a very good example I always wanted to share with people. When the Sushant suicide case was going on,
yeah,
some of the journalists knew it from day one that it's the biggest con story being sold to the public of this country, and people are being made fools. And all of us know which was the one channel which went, which crossed all the limits in just spreading misinformation and false facts. But one of those journalists, so we were standing outside Riya Chakrabarti's house, without anything being proven in the court of the law. पर फिर भी उस वक्त पे I was the first person who said that, you know what, she's a journalist and you cannot talk to her like that, so back off. ये नहीं allowed है. And we are the first people who will take a stand. But पता है कुछ समय बाद आपको यजूर कैसा लगता है कि ये लोग जितनी नफरत फैला रहे हैं ना, कभी कभार इनको भी they should get the taste of their own medicine. क्योंकि देखिए एक बहुत अच्छी लाइन, I'm a big fan of राहत इंदौरी साहब, and राहत इंदौरी साहब said कि मैं अभी थोड़ा सा भूल गई हूँ, पर उनकी लाइन्स थे, कईयों के घर उसमें आएंगे, तो इसमें उसमें आपका भी होगा, उसमें मुझे भी होगा. अगर आज मैं आग लगा रही हूँ ना, yes, oh my God, I've just embarrassed myself. I'm such a huge fan. How can I forget these lines? But anyway, I don't know. I think Rahat's son also is joining in. Okay, he was there just a while ago. Sameer Rahat. Anyway, but I was saying that अगर आज मैं आग लगा रही हूँ ना कहीं पे, तो कल वो आग मेरे घर पे भी पहुंचनी है. वो आप अगर आग लगा रहे हैं ना, वो आपके घर पे भी पहुंचेगी. तो कभी कभार मुझे लगता है कि ये लोग जो नफरत फैला रहे हैं ना, समटाइम्स दे शुड हैव द टेस्ट ऑफ देयर ओन मेडिसिन. कि आप भी तो देखो कि जब इस तरीके का बदतमीजी और झूठ कोई आपके नाम पे फैलाता है, कैसा लगता है. नफरत जब आप तक पहुंचती है तो लगता कैसा है. आप भी तो देखिए एक बार, आप लोग रात टीवी स्टूडियो से और अपने घर के कंफर्टेबल सोफा से वो हरकतें कर रहे हैं कि बाहर लोग एक दूसरे को मारने के लिए तैयार हैं. आप लोग इतना झूठ फैला रहे हैं कि बाहर लोग एक दूसरे को जान से मार डालने के लिए तैयार है. ना जाने कितने लोग मर गए, दंगे फसाद हो रहे हैं, और आपको लगता है कि वो आपके घर में नहीं पहुंचेगी क्या? कभी वो आप जरूर पहुंचेगी. तो मुझे तो लगता है कभी कभार यही सोच के मत करिए, यही सोच के we should always leave journalism also, just keep it aside, yaar. Just try and be human being. Just is it too tough? Is it too much to ask for? इतना मुश्किल है क्या एक अच्छा इंसान बनना? आप क्यों किसी से नफरत कर रहे हैं? आप क्यों किसी से आप किसी को जज क्यों कर रहे हैं? किस बेसिस पे आप किसी को जज कर रहे हैं? You shouldn't do it, right? What is this? What is this absolute paranoia that, oh, we let the other community people speak, they are going to kill us one day? Is there is one concept called equality. हमने उसको पीछे छोड़ दिया क्या? Equal नहीं हो सकते हैं क्या दो लोग?
I really want to end this with your, like, just as a journalist who's been working and dealing with all these things, what is the one thing you would want to change about our society that will make it a better place for journalists and for the people to access information? What would be your?
I think the one thing I would really like, I don't want to change anything. All the people have it. ये कहीं छुप गया है. All we need, there is a lot of hatred. बहुत नफरत already है. तो मुझे लगता है जब anything we approach in our personal lives also, forget journalists, as a society, as a human being, हम लोग किसी भी चीज को approach कर रहे हैं ना, our first way or a medium to approach should be with love. शुरू करिए प्यार से, उसके बाद देखते हैं बाद में क्या होता है. And the second thing I would really like to change in the society, we really have to start standing for each other. We need to take a strong, solid stand for each other. Because if this doesn't happen, आधे लोग ऐसे हो गए जो लड़ रहे हैं देश का फैब्रिक बचाने के लिए, डेमोक्रेसी का फैब्रिक बचाने के लिए, और बाकी आधे लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. तो वो पूरा भार हम लोगों पे आ गया है. और हम लोग किनसे लड़ रहे हैं? इतनी ह्यूज मशीनरी से, जो लोग एक सेकंड में एक इशारा करेंगे तो पता नहीं हम लोग कहाँ जाके कहाँ हमको कौन उठा के फेंक देगा. So I really want all the people to just take a stand here, guys. Share our work, read our work, form your own opinions. किसी की बात मत सुनिए, अच्छे रिपोर्ट्स को पढ़िए, अच्छी चीजें देखिए, अपना ओपिनियन फॉर्म करिए और थोड़ा स्टैंड लीजिए, थोड़ा अपना पक्ष रखिए. Please do not say that, oh, we are apolitical, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. I understand you can have your own responsibilities, you guys have your own life, but nothing is apolitical in today's situation where people are killing each other at a drop of a hat for absolutely nothing. जब इतनी नफरत चल रही है ना, उसको please उस चीज के लिए थोड़ा stand लीजिए, थोड़ी अपनी बात, अपना पक्ष रखिए सामने, and just try and approach everything with love. Just spread love and more love. I think that's something I would really like to change in this society, because I'm feeling for a long time now that हम थोड़ा सा अजीब, थोड़ा सा नेगेटिविटी हो गया है, तो प्यार नहीं हो पा रहा है. Somebody has written ATX Pandey. Okay, he has written, why are you not taking questions? Guys, please throw in your questions, and I'm here to just tell you things as it is, and anything you want to know. आपको कुछ भी पूछना है, आपको लगता है आप मुझसे आप सहमत नहीं है, you do not agree with me, please go ahead and ask any question you want to ask. So somebody has asked, what about your content in terms of negativity? Don't be so only in your content. Guys, there is a difference between how should I explain this? Okay, this is a very good question that, Asha, what about your content? It's also full of negativity. Absolutely. It's not full of negativity. We are not criticizing anybody. When we are showing you that, guys, let's take an example. देखिए, आज अस्पतालों की बहुत बुरी दशा है हमारे यहाँ पे. ये हम आपको नेगेटिविटी नहीं दे रहे हैं, ये हम आपको ग्राउंड रियलिटी दिखा रहे हैं. किसी एक को पंच डाउन करिए, वो नेगेटिविटी है. To showing the ground reality is not negativity. If something needs improvement and हम उसको सिर्फ दिखा रहे हैं, वो ऑलरेडी है. So आपने आपको आप बेवकूफ मत बनाइए ये बोल के कि अरे ये लोग हमको, डोंट शूट द मैसेंजर. हम लोग सिर्फ मैसेंजर्स हैं जो आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि देखिए ये स्थिति है. आपको लग रहा है कि हम उसको बना के नेगेटिव कर रहे हैं. नहीं, हम तो बोल रहे हैं ये स्थिति है, बहुत बहुत हेट चल रहा है ग्राउंड पे. क्यों है ये हेट? मिलजुल के रहिए, सब प्यार से रहिए. अगर कोई कुछ कर रहा है तो वो एक इंडिविजुअल इंसान की गलती है, वो एक इंडिविजुअल इंसान का क्राइम है. आप पुलिस के पास जाइए, पुलिस आपकी बात नहीं सुन रही है. I am from the drone store. From the drone store, yeah. He was asking that should journalists only report facts? Yes, absolutely. Drone store. The journalists absolutely should. In whatever it takes, we should. If we are calling ourselves journalists, we should just report facts as they are. उसमें कोई तरीके का आप अडल्ट्रेशन नहीं कर सकते हैं. अगर सोचिए आज एक लैंप बेड के पास रखा हुआ है, तो मैं उसको ये नहीं बोल सकती हूँ कि एक लैंप
को मैं बेड के पास लेके गई. I just have to say that the bed lamp was kept next to the bed. And then why was it kept next to the bed? There I can definitely go and, give in my perspective. पर बिल्कुल जो फैक्ट जो हुआ है वो हमको सबसे पहले एज इट इज रखना पड़ेगा. पर आपको ये भी समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि अभी जो सिचुएशन हुआ है, अभी द टाइम्स वी आर फेसिंग राइट नाउ, द टाइम्स वी लिव इन राइट नाउ, everything, even the facts are not as black and white. There is a huge area in between, which is the gray area. तो आपको हो सकता है कभी कभार दिख कुछ और रहा है पर पीछे की असलियत कुछ और है. So that's why we work on long format stories. That's why we spend at times 15 days or a month on one particular story to actually do a deep dive and go to the root cause and get the actual story out. Like to begin with, a very good example I would like to tell you, the Sushant story, the Sushant Rajput case. The entire country at one point of time was being sold the narrative that he was in fact being murdered and killed at somebody's. कभी कोई चैनल बोला कि किसी डायरेक्टर ने, जिनके मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहूंगी, किसी डायरेक्टर ने उनको मार दिया. कभी किसी ने बोला कि कोई एक्ट्रेस है जो उनकी गर्लफ्रेंड थी, फिर उन्होंने उनको ड्रग्स दे दिया, जहर दे दिया, काला जादू कर दिया, पता नहीं क्या क्या कर दिया. I mean, really guys, what is this? 2022 India, all of us are educated. Why are you letting anybody for that matter, let alone a government, anybody for that matter, take you for a ride so easily? आप लोग इतने आसानी से बेवकूफ बनाया जा सकता है क्या? आप लोगों को नहीं बनाया जा सकता, right? What happened after that story became the bedroom discussion story? मतलब डाइनिंग टेबल पे लोग वो सब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, कोई किसी की बात नहीं मान रहा है. People were pretty convinced that this is the girl who murdered him for money and gave drugs and this and that. But what happened? That girl was given a clean chit by not just the court. She was made to sit not just by the income tax, also by the enforcement directorate. She was already the villain in their eyes. उन्होंने उसको 24 घंटे बिठाया for 3 to 4 months. एक भी पैसे का छोटे से छोटे पैसे का कुछ नहीं निकला. And these, let me just tell you, three biggest agencies, enforcement directorate, income tax and CBI, were against that one woman. So she is not that big a conspirator or a planner that उसने सब कुछ मैनेज कर लिया और उसने 3 एजेंसीज को बेवकूफ बना दिया. नहीं, उसने 3 एजेंसीज को बेवकूफ नहीं बनाया. आप लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाया जा रहा था एक स्टोरी बेचने के लिए. आप सब लोगों को ये चीजें छुपाने के लिए कि कोविड उस समय, और एक चीज याद करिए कि उस समय क्या दशा थी, स्थिति थी कंट्री में. उस समय कोविड पीक पे था, लोगों को हॉस्पिटल बेड नहीं मिल रहा था, ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिल रहा था, हमें कुछ पता नहीं था. ऐसे समय पे इन सब चीजों को छुपा के who is that one person who is going to benefit if this is the story they sell? आप लोग सब लोग पूरे दिन सिर्फ एक ही चीज डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि सुशांत सिंह राजपूत को किसने मारा. आप में से कभी भी किसी ने सोचा कि हो सकता है so many farmers are committing suicide, are dying by suicide every year. So many other people are dying by suicide because why? There are some people who are going through extreme mental health issues, which is still continues to be a taboo in our country. लोगों को mental health की स्थिति है. जरूरी नहीं है वो लोग मेरे या आपके तरह है या यजुर की तरह है जो लोग सब स्थितियों को every situation they can deal with very easily. No, sometimes they can't even get over, even with the help of medicines, even with the help of legal drugs, they cannot. And there comes a situation जब वो इंसान कुछ चीज को भी नहीं झेल पाता है, वो ऐसे कोई कदम उठा देता है. क्या आप लोगों ने इस एक पॉसिबिलिटी के बारे में सोचा? किसी ने नहीं सोचा. सबको एक नैरेटिव बेच दिया गया. आप लोगों ने अंधे होकर आंखें बंद करके ड्रामा, पूरे दिन ड्रामा चल रहा है कि मुझे ड्रग्स दो, ये तरीके का एक टीवी पे ड्रामा चल रहा है और आप लोग उस चीज को एंजॉय कर रहे थे. तो कहाँ बचा फैक्ट्स ना? तब ऐसे चीजों पे सवाल उठाइए, ऐसे चीजों को क्वेश्चन करिए कि आपको कैसे पता उसे एक लड़की ने मारा है. आप कोर्ट में कुछ डिसाइड नहीं हुआ है और अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रही है ना. हाँ, हम लोग किस तरीके से किसी एक को विलन बना दिया. So yes, a journalist should definitely stick to the facts. But right now the situation is such that some of us are also going to the root cause of the story. कि दिखने में तो ये लग रहा है कि उसने मारा है, पर उससे पहले क्या हुआ? किसने उस इंसान को provoke किया? I'm not. Violence is absolutely not in question here. It's a big no. That nothing can explain, nothing can justify violence, but still, very cleverly, some people are trying to spread hate in our country and make all of us fools. Don't become a fool. Just try and question everything. Be a little cynical.
Tanushree,
yes, go ahead.
When this question comes up, should journalists only report facts? Let me give you two examples. One is that a rape happened. Let's say there was a rape in this district. Next day, the journalist comes and reports a 16-year-old girl was raped in District B. A 20-year-old woman was raped in District C. These are facts, facts, facts. Nobody can deny that, right? Then there is a story that Delhi is becoming unsafe for women, or Dalit women are becoming more and more unsafe because, so there the journalist is extracting a story. Now the question, there is two views out there. Should a journalist just stick to facts, or should they put together the facts and come out with a story that maybe law enforcement is going down? Maybe there are more criminals on the street. They do that investigation to find the story. So as an investigative journalist, I really want to ask you this. Do you only report facts, or do you put facts together for us as ordinary people to explain to us what is the real story here, guys? What you can't see, this is what's really going on. Is that the job of a journalist or not? Because a lot of people think it's not the job of a journalist. A journalist should only report facts. They should not bring in their perspective, their own opinion, their own agenda into and put it all together into a story which would be from their perspective. So I want to get your view. What is the role of a journalist?
What you are saying is absolutely correct. A journalist should not bring in their own agenda or their own bias or their own perspective. As soon as you're starting doing that, you are not a journalist anymore. Then you're working for the PR. You are some agenda setter. Agar mere ko ho sakta hai mera favorite, my favorite politician may or may not be Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of our country. But when I'm going on the field to report on a particular matter that अच्छा ये oxygen हमें क्यों नहीं मिला, या अरे महंगाई क्यों ऊपर बढ़ रही है, मेरा फेवरेटिज्म मुझे घर पे रखना पड़ेगा. मेरा फेवरेटिज्म कि अमित शाह जो होम मिनिस्टर है हमारी कंट्री के, वो मेरे फेवरेट पॉलिटिशियन है. मैं लड़ जाऊंगी अगर कोई किसी उनके खिलाफ कोई बोलेगा. ये मेरा फेवरेटिज्म है. आई हैव टू कीप इट बैक एट होम. If I cannot keep it back at home when I'm on the field reporting a story, I am not a journalist. If I call anybody here who is listening to me, अगर कल को मैं अपना bias field पे लेकर आती हूँ और अगर आपको दिख रहा है कि मैं biased हूँ, call me out. I would love to be called out, guys. But Yajul, what you asked to answer your question, absolutely 200% sure. We should report. We should get in all the facts. So we at times say that West Bengal has become less, crime has gone down ever since the Mamata Banerjee government has come. But we also have to rope in that how many crimes are also getting reported. हो सकता है रिपोर्टिंग उस चीज की कम हो गई हो, क्राइम उतना ही हो रहा है. और ये अच्छी बात है कि पहले रिपोर्ट ज्यादा हो रहा था. हो सकता है अब लोगों को यूपी में there was an NCRB data that from Akhilesh's time now to Yogi's time, the crime against women has come down. Oh yes, absolutely it has. But according to NCRB data, most of the women, most of the girls in Uttar Pradesh are not even coming out of their houses to report the crime. आप लोगों ने उनको इतना डरा दिया है कि पहले वो रिपोर्ट तो करने आते थे कि हमारे साथ रेप हो गया, अब तो वो रिपोर्ट ही नहीं करने आ रहे क्योंकि पता चले क्या पता कोई मरवा दे या मर जाए तो जबरदस्ती जला दे. अब डर इतना घुस गया है. So as a journalist, my job is to get all the facts. I can't just go tomorrow and just straight away say that, the NCRB data is wrong and there is more crime. If we compare Akhilesh's time from Yogi Adityanath's time, there is more crime now. No. I have to say that is there crime more? Has crime increased? Or the reportage of crime has gone down? Or has criminals increased on the street? So everything, one-sided story is really, it's not a great piece of work. You can go ahead, but it's not really ethical to do that.
Let me just come out with a counter view. Is it even possible to be unbiased? Can anybody, not just you or me, but can anyone be unbiased? You live with a certain worldview. In your worldview, women should be independent. They should be out there on the field doing their job, and they should have the liberty to do that. Similarly, you believe in India, which is multicultural, multi-religious, I imagine. So in your worldview, anybody who's out there going and giving a speech, we need a Hindu Rashtra, to you, he's making a hate speech.
So when you will report about that, you will report about it that he made a hate speech as a fact, right? But to somebody who has that worldview that we should not be a multicultural, multi-religious society, to that person, you are still biased. To somebody who believes that a woman should not be out on the night, otherwise she's herself calling trouble, right? She's inviting trouble if she's out on the street, she should be inside the house. To that person, you are biased because you are arguing that, oh, just even when, so I'm just saying, we all live with a worldview, and India is such a country where people are living in different centuries, complete different world around them. We might be sharing a physical space, but we are living in very different worlds. And it is just obvious that everybody is going to find everybody else biased. Don't you think so?
Okay, so let me hear it right. So you are saying कि अगर कोई ये बोलता है, if somebody is coming from this perspective or this world view, that this should be a Hindu Rashtra. Just an example, India should be an Hindu Rashtra, and we should understand that person's perspective and we should not fight it. I am sorry, Yajur, I would not be able to support it. The fact is that India is a democratic country. The fabric of this country is that we just not have diverse cultures. We have diverse people, diverse community, diverse religions, diverse races, diverse castes, diverse culture, everything. So anybody saying that India is a Hindu Rashtra and we should, we should put the people of other community at their places, I am going to be the first person who is going to fight against them. Just like, as you said, that if somebody is of the world view that girls should not step out at night, and if girls step out in bikinis, and if girls step out wearing short clothes, and if something, is showing, we are going to rape them. That girl is going to get raped. ये justified है. I am sorry, boss. मैं आपसे उस अपनी आखिरी सांस तक, I am going to fight with you till the last breath. There are few things which should be categorized as right and as wrong. ऐसे तो फिर सब कुछ सही है. मतलब जिसने रेप करा या जिसने कल किसी का मर्डर किया है, आई एम श्योर उसका भी कोई पर्सपेक्टिव होगा. आई एम श्योर ओसामा बिन लादेन का भी कोई पर्सपेक्टिव रहा होगा. कुछ तो वो भी सोच के मार रहा था. पागल तो था नहीं, है ना? तो गलत है ना. We have to call out what is wrong, what is. See, everything can't be put in a category of worldview that person is coming from that worldview. That's why this was justified. I'm sorry, this is not justified. You calling for more hate and saying that India is a Hindu Rashtra, anybody, this is not justified. You saying that girls should not be out on the streets because we are of the world view कि लड़कियां रात को बाहर निकलेंगी तो obviously क्या होगा, कोई रेप ही करेगा ना. हम निकलेंगे बाहर और हम लोग, हमारा जैसा मन हम लोग निकलेंगे, हम लोग जो मर्जी, जो कपड़े जैसा, बिना कपड़ों के जैसे मर्जी निकलेंगे. अगर आप हमको कुछ भी करते हैं तो आप गलत हैं. आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए, आपको डूब के मरना चाहिए. You should be, you should be met with an action. I am not going to defend your world view here. So it's as simple as that.
कुछ गलत है और कुछ सही है. I agree with you 100%. Who decides what is wrong or right? Does the elected government decide? Do courts decide? Does the constitution have the final word? Does the public referendum decide, or does the mob decide out there on the streets? Who decides कि ये तो गलत है और ये सही है?
आप डिसाइड करिए ना इंडिविजुअली. कोई सरकार, कोई मॉब, कुछ नहीं. एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना है देश का, उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में गलती होगी, पार्लियामेंट में लोग बैठे हैं जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में चेंजेस लाएंगे. एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है जो एक और which gives each and every person the right to live with equal dignity, equal respect. This country is as much mine, as much it's yours, as much it is for anybody sitting on the land of this country. So how can we just get up one day and say that, oh, just because इस अफगानिस्तान में ऐसा हुआ कि जो ऐसा, ये जो आईसिस जो टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, ये लोग भी तो इस्लाम मांग रहे हैं या पता नहीं ऐसा करें. ये आपकी आप लोग थोड़ा आप get yourself educated, guys. Just because something else is happening in some other country, not necessarily that you are going to you are going to basically keep all the minorities in your country under your thumb. No, this is a wrong mentality to have. This is a wrong mindset to have. This is just a very bad person thinking to have. We can't do this. सबको सब प्यार, मैं तो वही बोल रही हूँ, सब छोड़ दीजिए, प्यार से रहिए ना. कहाँ दिक्कत आ रही है? आप पढ़िए, आप मेरा भी रिपोर्ट पढ़िए और आप बोलिए कि तनुश्री, you know what, you have reported this particular story from Rajasthan about honor killing. Boss, I do not agree with one of the facts. This is wrong. I am going to be the first person who is going to invite you to my house, make you sit, and then let's discuss what is wrong. चलो आज डिस्कस करते हैं. अच्छा आप बताइए, अच्छा आपका ये पॉइंट है, मेरा ये पॉइंट है. पर आप मुझे ये नहीं बोल सकते ना, मैं तुम्हारी गर्दन काट के फेंक दूंगा अगर तुमने कुछ बोल दिया सरकार के बारे में, या वी आर गोइंग टू रेप यू. व्हाट इज दिस क्रेजी हेट्रेड वी हैव जस्ट, यू नो, हम लोग क्या होते जा रहे हैं. आप बताइए, एक मूवी आई, बहुत अच्छी मूवी आई, कश्मीर फाइल्स. I mean, you know what happened with the Kashmiri Pandits. Every person should, not just Indians, each and every person on the planet should know about it. 200% should know about it. But Yajur, you know what? Why I was against the movie? Because there are a few things which are said to make you emotional. मैं आज आपको बोल सकती हूँ कि यजुर पता है इसने ना, एक इंसान ने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा. You will be emotional and you will say, Tanushree, I stand with you. And there are a few things which are said with an intention to trigger and to spread hate. That's why, that is when you hide facts. You do not, आप सिर्फ उतने facts दिखाते हैं जिससे आपको पता है कि अरे इससे हम बेवकूफ बना लेंगे जनता को. आपको इमोशनल नहीं करना लोगों को, आपको लोगों को ट्रिगर करना है, गुस्सा दिलाना है, गुस्सा इनके खिलाफ. वो चीज तो सही नहीं है ना.
I completely agree. There is a lot of cherry picking of facts going on in India all around. Let me quickly bring up the audience questions. They're in the question section.
Somebody is asking, do you think there is a bias in highlighting only specific news in mainstream media now? Mainstream media depends on what you call mainstream media. I would really like to call some of the journalists, I follow their work, the mainstream media. But today in our country, mainstream media is TV news channels. And let me tell you, I have worked for 7 long years in 2 news channels. One was CNN-IBN, which later became CNN News 18. And then I worked with India Today, watchdog, one of the biggest news organizations in the country. And definitely 200% without looking right or left, there is 200% bias, because there is not bias. ये हम नहीं करना चाहते हैं, ये वो लोग भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. There is too much pressure, and all of you know who the pressure is coming from. All of our social media handles, there is now every company. Do you know this? Do you guys know this? Every organization, most of the organizations now have a written contract which each and every employee have to sign, that we are not going to write. Even in our personal spaces, हमारे personal Instagram पे या हमारे personal Twitter पे, जो हमारा personal space है, हम उस पे भी कुछ भी ऐसी बात नहीं लिख सकते हैं जो सरकार को criticize कर रही है. Now why? If I come and tell you tomorrow that Yajur, let's work today, let's start working, but you have to sign a contract that you are never going to criticize me or go say anything against me. How does it work? Which means I'm a complete Hitler. I want to control everything. Nobody should speak anything against me. Then that's not democracy, right?
Tanushree, there's a question for you from ABX Pandey. Whom are you following as a true journalist these days?
Yeah, guys, I follow, and I always put it on Instagram also, that if you want some real good stuff, please follow these people. To start with, I have Nidhi Suresh, who works with the News Laundry. She is a terrific news journalist, a terrific reporter, terrific human being. Then comes Ismat Ara, who used to work with The Wire. I think she's still with The Wire. Then comes Fatima Khan. Then comes Sadhika Tiwari, Asmita Nandi, who is with The Brute. Then there is Bismi Taskin, who is in the same organization as I am. There is Parth, who is an independent journalist. Parth MN करके उनका नाम है. और इसके बाद एक सीनियर कैटेगरी है जिसमें साक्षी जोशी, अजीत अंजुम जी, अभिसार शर्मा, रोहिणी सिंह, राजदीप सरदेसाई. आई मीन ऑब्वियसली ऑल दीज पीपल. ये सब जर्नलिस्ट हैं जो हम बहुत दिल से फॉलो करते हैं जिनको. पर अभी मैंने आपको जिन कुछ लोगों का नाम बताया, सादिका तिवारी, फातिमा खान, इस्मत आरा, पार्थ, there is a person called Bhaskar Tripathi, then Asmita Nandi. These are people, I am a huge fan of their work. And a lot more. Amil, there is a person, Amil, who works with the Indian Express. A lot more. Let me do one thing. Let me just put a list out on Instagram one day, because I really want to. These people are doing some absolutely fantastic job. Then Akshay Dongre from NDTV. There is Saurabh Shukla from NDTV. There is Shreya Chatterjee from India Today. There are a lot of Sohit Mishra from NDTV. I'm a huge fan. Purva Chitnis, lot of these people, they are such. And also you will see one thing, आप लोग एक चीज और notice करेंगे जब आप इनका काम follow करेंगे कि ये लोग इंसान भी बहुत बढ़िया हैं, बहुत अच्छे ये लोग इंसान हैं, इनमें कोई भी एक प्रतिशत judgment नहीं है. And all these people who are spreading hate, they are human beings. If you see as human beings also, they're very weird people. They are very weird people, you know. I once asked Nupur, who is right now, who is the editor-in-chief of India. I just asked her once, I was like, Nupur, why are you being personal? Why can't you just report on a particular story? आप इतना personal target क्यों करने लग जाते हैं? हाथरस में लड़की के साथ सर्वाइवर विक्टिम के साथ जो हुआ, आप उससे एज अ वुमन आप नहीं कनेक्ट करते क्या? आप नहीं बोलेंगे क्या ये गलत है? Keep your hand on your heart and tell me if you do not agree with this, that this what has happened is wrong. I am not saying that the government is responsible for the gang rape, which happened with that girl. But what happened later? आपको लग रहा है पुलिस खुद एक बॉडी को जाके क्रिमेट करेगी जब तक उनके पास ऊपर से ऑर्डर नहीं हो रहा है? ये बात तो क्लास 2 का बच्चा भी बता देगा, ऐसा नहीं होता. Police is the entire system has to be under some kind of pressure to cremate a rape victim's body. They can have their own reasons, but I am sorry, this is a huge human rights violation. And if somebody is saying that, oh, ये किसी का agenda है country को बुरा दिखाने के लिए, तो मैं हूँ वो इंसान जो आपका गाली सुनने के लिए तैयार हूँ. But I am sorry, this is what I stand for, and I will always stand for this. From behind the jail, from outside prison, from doesn't matter wherever I am in life, I'm always going to stand for this.
Tanushree, there's another question for you. What are your views about Rajasthan riots?
Okay, so there are many clashes taking place, too much tension happening. एक आज अभी हुआ है clash, last night को एक clash हुआ है जोधपुर में राजस्थान में. 3 हफ्ते पहले करौली एक जगह है राजस्थान में, वहां पे riots हुआ था. We have reported, our reporter Bismi Taskin has already put out 4 stories covering all the facts on the on this particular matter. Please go read her stuff. But see that मैं इस तरीके से एक ऐसे नहीं बोल सकती कि उनकी गलती थी, इनकी गलती थी. These are all matters which are under investigation. Police is doing their job. There is a system in place. But I can only tell you that do not आप ये जो एक mentality mindset आ गई है ना. So I went to Jahangirpuri. I was there in Jahangirpuri for 4 days. Yajul. I was mostly roaming around with the kids, with 15-16-year-old kids, to just understand that what their psyche is. If a kid is holding a sword, उसको किसने बताया कि ये तलवार पकड़ना है? वो क्यों पकड़ रहा है तलवार? मैंने तो नहीं पकड़ी बचपन में तलवार, मेरी मम्मी ने तो मुझे नहीं सिखाया, तो क्यों वो बच्चा तलवार पकड़ने के लिए आज तैयार है? So I sat with kids and this happened, this kept on for 4 days. So all of them were telling me, क्यों हम लोग तलवार क्यों नहीं पकड़े? मुहर्रम में भी तो ये लोग तलवार लेके अपने आप को मारते हैं, हम क्यों नहीं तलवार पकड़े? ये तो देखिए, आप देखिए बांग्लादेश में इन्होंने मार दिया, आप देखिए पाकिस्तान में ये हो गया, वो हो गया. अरे ये कौन सा मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन है जो आपको दिया जा रहा है, जिससे आपको बोला जा रहा है कि आप तलवार पकड़िए अपने ही लोगों के खिलाफ? बांग्लादेश में जो हो रहा है, पाकिस्तान में जो हो रहा है, अफगानिस्तान में जो हो रहा है, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका में जो हो रहा है, चाइना में जो हो रहा है, नॉर्थ कोरिया में जो हो रहा है, वो वहां हो रहा है. ये तो आपके खुद के लोग हैं. आप इनको अगर ऑलरेडी आप अपने दिमाग में पर्सपेक्टिव रख चुके हैं कि भाई ये इंसान किसी और कम्युनिटी का है तो हमको इससे नफरत करनी है, फिर तो नफरत से रेसिप्रोकेट होगा, फिर उसमें और नफरत ऐड होगी. इट्स अ नेवर एंडिंग विशियस सर्कल, राइट? सो या
Against you, why are you only concerned with news related to religion? Why don't you cover other incidents and non-religion related news? I'd love to know your opinion on this.
Whoever this person is doesn't follow my work. Guys, please follow my work. लगता है आप लोग मुझे बिल्कुल काम नहीं देखते, इसलिए आप ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. I have reported from, my first report was from a Naxal-liberated area where I spoke to some of the rape victims. Then from there on, I have reported on calamities. I have reported on earthquake. I have reported on COVID pandemic. I have reported on the situations of hospital in our country. I have reported on the clashes. And essentially, I'm an investigative journalist. So whoever saying this, that why am I concerned with just religion? I did a story on honor killing. That's no religion. That doesn't involve any religion. That's a caste. That's an intercaste love problem which we have in our country. उसमें तो कोई religion नहीं है. तो please आप लोग ये सब बेहुदा सवाल ना पूछें. आप पहले काम देखें. You please follow my work and then ask these questions. Don't just ask for the heck of asking it, guys. Come on, be a little substantial in our questions.
If I may add a little bit to that, Tanushree, it's something that we need to ask the nation. Why is it that so much of the politicians, media, government, why is everybody talking about religion? How come instead of, when we are facing the highest pollution in the world, why does religion take such a center place in our elections?
No idea.
Question for
No
you.
clue.
You are just reporting what is happening, but why is it happening? And that's not a question for you, it's a question for the state and for the society. But
मैं तो चाहती हूँ कि मुझे एक भी दिन ये मेरा एडिटर ना बोले फोन करके कि आज वहां हिंदू मुस्लिम का झगड़ा लग गया, तनुश्री जाइए स्टोरी करके आइए। मुझे तो ये तो चाहिए ही नहीं। आई एम डाइंग फॉर अ डे व्हेन यू नो वी आर सेंट फॉर वेरी हार्मलेस प्रोजेक्ट्स कि अरे वहां पे नेचर कोविड, जैसे कोविड पैंडेमिक में था, मैं आपको एक सच्ची बात बताऊंगी, देयर वाज अ सैडिस्टिक प्लेजर। कहीं ना मेरे अंदर एक चीज थी कि थैंक गॉड ये नेचर हमारे साथ कर रहा है, वी हैव नोबडी टू ब्लेम टू, अदरवाइज ना जाने कितने लोग कितनों को ऐसे ही मार चुके होते। इट ब्रेक्स माई हार्ट व्हेनेवर वी हैव टू गो एंड रिपोर्ट ऑन अ हिंदू मुस्लिम झगड़ा और ऑन अ क्लैश और ऑन अ रिलीजियस। वी डोंट वांट टू डू दिस। इतना रिलीजियस टेंशन कहां से आ गया कंट्री में? हम नहीं बना रहे हैं, मैं नहीं हूं, मैं नहीं थी जहांगीरपुरी में, मैं नहीं थी कर्नाटका में, मैं नहीं थी करौली में, मैं नहीं थी छत्तीसगढ़ में, मैं नहीं थी झारखंड में, मैं मध्य प्रदेश में भी नहीं थी। क्यों हो रहा है वहां पे टेंशन? मैं तो नहीं हूं कहीं, बाकी जर्नलिस्ट भी कहीं नहीं है। हम लोग हु आर वी आर नोबडी यार, वी आर जस्ट रिपोर्टिंग ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर स्टोरी। हम लोगों में इतना दिमाग नहीं है कि हम लोग एक झगड़ा लगवा देंगे। तो ये सवाल आप खुद से पूछिए और ये सवाल आप आंखों को खोलिए तो आपको नजर आएगा चारों ओर कि इतना रिलीजियस टेंशन पैदा करके किसको बेनिफिट हो रहा है। अगर हम लोग आपस में झगड़ा करने लग गए, इमेजिन इफ आई एम अ मुस्लिम एंड यजुर इज अ हिंदू, हु इज बेनिफिटिंग फ्रॉम पिटिंग बोथ ऑफ अस अगेंस्ट ईच अदर? हमको ध्यान ही नहीं रहेगा कि अरे अब बढ़ रहा है, रेट बढ़ रहा है, तेल का दाम बढ़ रहा है, नींबू का दाम बढ़ रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन आ रहा है कंट्री में, होने दो, मैं तो पहले लड़ूंगी एक मुस्लिम से, मैं तो पहले एक हिंदू को मार डालूंगी। ये किसको करके बेनिफिट होगा? गाइज थिंक अबाउट इट। They do not want you to raise the matters which really should concern us, like inflation, like petrol prices, like unemployment, lack of jobs. कोविड में हॉस्पिटल नहीं था, ऑक्सीजन नहीं था, ये लोग नहीं चाहते कि हम उस पर सवाल खड़े करें।
Do you think there was more press freedom under Congress? I think you get this question a lot, so I'll let you answer.
I was a child. I was a small child in school. I don't know. There may not be, but Congress is right now is not, one minute. Let me answer this question because this is a very important question. Every time you do a story, people say, "Oh, Congress ki supporter ho." No, I'm putting it on record. I have no zero about Congress. क्योंकि क्यों भैया, ना वो पावर में है, हार्डली उनके पास 2-3 स्टेट्स हैं, वो अपना काम कर रहे हैं। राहुल गांधी एक जगह का MP है, मैं उनको क्या बोलूं, उनके पास तो कोई पावर ही नहीं है। इसीलिए उनके समय पे अच्छा नहीं था हालत देश का, तभी तो हम लोगों ने चेंज किया ना, तभी तो हमने चेंज किया। कल आप आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव इंडिया का पेज अच्छे से नहीं हैंडल कर पाएंगे, लोग मुझे बनाएंगे कि अच्छा तनुश्री आप हैंडल करो कल से आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव इंडिया का पेज। अब कल से मैं चालू कर दूंगी एब्सोल्यूट डिक्टेटरशिप कि जो मैं चाहूंगी उस बारे में बात होगी। एनीबडी स्पीकिंग अगेंस्ट मी विल बी, इफ ही और शी इज क्वेश्चन विद कि अरे यार तो क्या तुम चाहती हो वापस यजुर आ जाए? यजुर के टाइम पे हैंडल हो रहा था, क्यों भैया? हो सकता है यजुर भी बेकार था, हो सकता है तनुश्री पांडे भी बेकार है, दोनों ही बेकार है। Why are we always being questioned that do you think that press freedom was better when there was Congress in place? I do not know. I was a small child. People who are journalists, they tell us that it was bad, but now it's worse. There was emergency being put by Indira Gandhi. Congress has come out and apologized unconditionally for it. बट राइट नाउ छोड़िए ना, वो पास्ट की बात है। पास्ट में हम लोग के साथ ना जाने जीवन में क्या क्या हुआ है, हम लोग पास्ट को लेके बैठे रहेंगे तो प्रेजेंट और फ्यूचर तो खत्म है ना। प्रेजेंट में देखिए ना, प्रेजेंट में देखिए कौन विच गवर्नमेंट वी हैव वोटेड फॉर, कौन किसको हम लोग पावर दे रहे हैं, और उनको बोलिए, उनसे सवाल पूछिए दैट गाइज दिस इज वेयर यू लैक, दिस इज व्हाट यू आर डूइंग रॉन्ग, एंड दिस is what we want as citizens because we have all the rights, because we have voted for you, not for the Congress. We have not voted for the Congress. I mean, come on. So this is very childish and very stupid, when people ask that, so you do not like BJP, so you must be a Congress person. You must have your hots for Rahul Gandhi. No, guys. They are nobody यार, तभी हम उनको blame करके क्या करें?
So your answer is, the question is irrelevant. What Congress did or did
Absolutely, absolutely irrelevant. There may or may not be good press freedom. How does it matter? Now we are here in 2022 with a certain party at the helm of affairs. आज अगर मैं मर गई, मुझे ऑक्सीजन ना मिला, तो आप लोग क्या राहुल गांधी का कॉलर पकड़ेंगे जाके? नहीं, आप लोग मेरे एरिया में आएंगे ना, मेरे डॉक्टर से, मेरे एमएलए से, मेरे एमपी से पूछेंगे ना कि भाई क्यों मर गई ये लड़की, इसको क्यों नहीं मिल पाया? ये तो रोज टैक्स भरती है. तो आज जब मेरे लोग, when my people are dying, and Yajur, I have lost people. I am sure all of you, or I really hope not, but I am sure a lot of people joining this live, they also have lost people during COVID. For what? For oxygen. हम लोग किस लिए काम कर रहे हैं अगर आप लोग हमें ऑक्सीजन भी नहीं दे पाए तो? Each and every government. And also let me tell you this, I was in Bombay, I was in Maharashtra, reporting from Maharashtra for 6 months during the first lockdown, during the first COVID wave. And I bashed the Uddhav Thackeray government left, right, and center for wherever they were wrong. I was one of the first few journalists to enter, an overloaded hospital, one of the most overwhelmed hospital, which was Sion Hospital, जहाँ dead bodies रखी हुई थी corridor में. I was the first person to expose that Uddhav Thackeray, what is this happening in your state? I held Uddhav Thackeray responsible that, sir, ये है आपका system, इतना सा देर में crumble हो गया, dead bodies और patient साथ में लेटे हुए हैं. तब तो मुझे किसी ने नहीं बोला कि अच्छा आप उद्धव ठाकरे के अगेंस्ट जा रही है, इसका मतलब आप बहुत बड़ी मोदी फैन होंगी. ये तभी सवाल क्यों आता है जब हम लोग इस सरकार के बारे में कुछ बोलते हैं कि ओ यू आर राइटिंग अगेंस्ट. We are not writing against any political parties, guys. We are showing you the ground reality. Now, if you want to categorize me as one party favorite, that is completely up to you. हम यहाँ ये करने नहीं आए हैं. मुझे पता है मैं जब रात को सोती हूँ बहुत अच्छे से सो पाती हूँ क्योंकि because I have myself to answer and I do full justice to my profession. I do full justice to my profession. That's why I sleep very peacefully. With a heavy heart because so much tension is happening. नफरत फैल रही है देश में. But with a very, with a clear heart कि भैया मैं झूठ नहीं बोल रही हूँ. So yeah, you can categorize me as much as you want. Really doesn't matter.
We have to wrap up in a few minutes, so I want brief answers to some of these questions because I just want to cover them. Rishabh Jaiswal. Tanushree ma'am, what are your thoughts on the Op India article which attacked your report in Jahangirpuri? Do you think you should take action against Op India?
Oh, not at all, not at all. They do not need my action. They just need love. More love. Guys, just give love. And I am telling you this, मैं थोड़ी सी ऐसी हूँ, पहले ना मैं भड़क जाती थी, कोई भी कुछ भी बोल दे, or somebody says anything to my friends, or I will just go and, but now I have adopted this new way of just distancing myself. And you are never, ये मेरी एक बात आप लोग लिख लीजिए कहीं पे कि अगर आप लोग को लाइफ में कोई भी ग्रीफ दे रहा है या अगर आपके बारे में कभी भी कोई कुछ गलत बोल रहा है ना, वहां से खुद को डिस्टेंस कर लीजिए. यू आर never going to regret distance over disrespect. मत करिए. Op India doesn't need my action. I can totally sue them, but how does it matter? कल वो कुछ और लिखेंगे, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. उनको प्यार दो. मुझे तो इनफैक्ट लगता है कि कोई Op India में है जो मुझसे बहुत प्यार करता है. I really think so. And if there is Op India, guys, if anybody of you is listening, please come and just just let me know if you guys love me. Yaar. I am all for love, but no hate.
Please come and hug Tanushree. But so there's a question from Varun Chabra. It's the same question which I asked you. How do you determine what's reality and what's propaganda? How to tell fake news from real news?
ये मुश्किल है, बहुत मुश्किल है. जैसे बहुत सारी चीजें हो रही है ना, देखिए जैसे सुशांत वाला हो गया. इवन फॉर 5 days मैं भी चक्कर में थी कि हो सकता है रिया चक्रवर्ती ने मारा है. पर आपको थोड़ा सा आप 2% ना स्टेप बैक, गो लेवल डीप और सोचिए, थोड़ा फैक्ट्स को क्वेश्चन कीजिए, थोड़ा आराम से देखिए देश में क्या चल रहा है. आप खुद समझ जाएंगे. आप आराम से खुद समझ जाएंगे that what is, you will be absolutely clearly able to distinguish between propaganda, agenda and real news, guys. Come on. I mean, this is not as tough. I know this is pretty tough, but not as difficult as it is. आप लोग कोशिश तो शुरू करिए. आप लोग कोशिश करिए, आपको एजेंडा, प्रोपेगेंडा और रियल न्यूज में आप लोग को साफ हो जाएगा अंतर.
So while in India we talk about censorship from the right, in the US, there is a lot of conversation around censorship by the left. So there are questions from 2 different individuals right now, Raj Abhishek Singh and Rahul Gautam, who want to get your view on Twitter becoming a free speech platform, which is basically Elon Musk taking over Twitter after the outrage from far-right communities over censorship of their tweets by Twitter. So what is your...
I think I see. I'm no expert on Twitter. I'm no expert about the states also. I'm just a journalist in this country. But still, I think I would like to say that any kind of misinformation, any kind of information which is trying to sort of spread hate, I think it should be censored. But क्योंकि अभी समय ऐसा आ गया ना, आप क्या करेंगे बताइए? ऐसे तो कल को लोग कुछ भी लिखते जाएंगे, क्योंकि अगर ये इतनी मेच्योरिटी होती इस देश के लोगों में कि कोई कितना भी भड़काए, भड़कना नहीं है, हेट नहीं करना, वायलेंस पे नहीं उतरना, तो फिर कोई बात ही नहीं थी, तो फिर किसी टाइप की सेंसरशिप की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. बट आज सेंसरशिप की जरूरत है. क्या कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि लोग भड़काने का काम बहुत कर रहे हैं ना. बट देयर इज नो, बट व्हेन यू नो, I also feel a lot of these news channels who are just sitting, a lot of these anchors who are spreading hate day in day out, their content also needs to get censored. उनका भी censor होना चाहिए.
But I think mean is not censorship. What you're asking for is moderation, right? You think the social media should moderate, not censor, correct?
I feel absolutely. I feel yes, you're right. Thank you. I feel the social media should be moderated. I feel the social media should be moderated. I remember putting out a post on Instagram about what was happening in Tripura, where there were clashes and mosques were burnt, and allegedly mosques were burnt and things were burnt. It's still under investigation. Instagram took that down automatically. They said that it's sort of whatever, and I understood it. I was like, okay, ठीक है, harmless है, कोई बात नहीं. अगर एक भी इंसान मेरे इस सच जो पोस्ट जो सच्चाई के बारे में है, जो सच है, एक्चुअली इट्स द ट्रूथ, इट्स द फैक्ट व्हिच इज हैपनिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड, गाइज. इफ इट इज अनकंफर्टेबल टू यू, आई कांट हेल्प इट, because my job is not to please you, and my job is not to whitewash everything and show it to you. My job is to show things as they are. But still, if it is troubling you, or if it is if it is doing any harm to you, I'm more than happy to take it down. I'm more than happy to take it down. So a lot of people suggested that, Tanushree, why don't you start putting trigger warning? So I said, okay, ठीक है. मेरा मानना ये है कि जो ये चीज लोगों के साथ हो रही है आज के डेट में ग्राउंड पे, आप वो चीज देख भी नहीं पा रहे हैं, आपको ट्रिगर वार्निंग की जरूरत है. सोचिए जिनके साथ हो रही है उनका क्या हाल हो रहा होगा. वो आपकी कंट्री के लोग हैं जिनके बारे में आप जानते भी नहीं, आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. तो पर कोई बात नहीं, अगर आपको लग रहा है वो एक पोस्ट देखते आप पागल हो जा रहे हैं, आप भड़क जा रहे हैं, आपको दुख हो रहा है कि अरे इतने लोग कंट्री में मर रहे हैं बिना ऑक्सीजन के, ये सुन के पढ़ के मुझे दुख हो रहा है, मुझे ये नहीं देखना, मुझे अच्छी चीजें देखनी है. इट्स ओके, आई पुट ट्रिगर वार्निंग. It's completely up to you to follow me or follow me not, but I'm going to show the truth as it is.
You are okay with an American corporation deciding what to moderate, how to moderate, like who should be taken off or who should be allowed to stay, who should talk and who should not be allowed to talk? Are you okay with like an American corporation making those decisions? Arbitration of truth.
200% not. 200% not. It can't just go to one person deciding what is right, what is wrong. But I really wish I could say that I want an Indian person to decide, because we Indians are very good at deciding what is right, what is wrong. I can't even say that, unfortunately. But क्या कर सकते हैं यार, किसी का प्लेटफॉर्म है, किसी का स्टार्टअप आइडिया था, कोई लाया है. मेरे this is something way out of my league. I can only have a very, इसलिए मैं और एक बात है यजुर कि मैं जिन टॉपिक्स के बारे में जिसमें मुझे लगता है कि मैं ज्यादा अच्छे से नहीं जानती, उसमें मुझे बात करना नहीं पसंद है, because I do not want to just add my 2 cents just for the heck of it, just because I'm a journalist. So I would not want to really comment on though I personally feel that people should be, it's a free, people should just be free to, at least be free to be able to express what they feel, but and there should be some sort of a moderation, not a complete censorship. जैसे मूवीज में भी मुझे लगता है कि कभी कभार मूवीज वही दिखा रही हैं जो असलियत है. अब आपको ट्रबल कर रहा है, तो इसमें हम क्या कर सकते हैं? तो कोशिश कीजिए कि किसी चीज से आप ट्रिगर ना करें, किसी को आप ट्रिगर ना करें, पर सच्चाई आप दिखाइए, आप सच्चाई दिखाइए और पूरे फैक्ट्स के साथ दिखाइए. दिस इज वन पॉइंट. यू नीड टू बी एबल टू put out all the facts. Okay. Why anybody standing and presenting a Hindu point of view makes that person automatically communal in your eyes? No, Himachal 017, absolutely not. It's a lie. Anybody taking a stand for Hindu makes it communal. I mean, क्यों भैया, मैं हिंदू हूँ भाई, ऐसा क्यों होगा? मेरे को क्यों, क्या मुझे मजा आ रहा है कम्युनल करने पे? मनभूष एक बात बोलिए ना, ये पॉइंट कहाँ से आ गया? ये हिंदू मुस्लिम, हिंदू खतरे में है, ये खतरे में है, वो खतरे में, ये पॉइंट कहाँ से आया? अच्छा खासा एक देश है, अच्छा खासा वहां पे डेमोक्रेसी है, अच्छा खासा हम लोग के पास इतने मुद्दे हैं जिनको हम उठा सकते हैं, जिससे हमको लाभ और हानि होगा। जैसे कि महंगाई से हमको घर पे फर्क पड़ेगा, नौकरियों से आप लोगों के घर पे पैसा आएगा। हिंदू मुस्लिम करने से आपको क्या मिल रहा है बताइए ना? और कौन सा हिंदू, हिंदू के पक्ष में बात करने वाला कौन सा आदमी, मतलब कौन सा खतरा ऐसा दिखा दिया यार? क्या कौन सा खतरा आपको बताइए, आप मुझे बताइए। मैं होंगी, आई विल बी द फर्स्ट पर्सन हु इज गोइंग टू डू अ स्टोरी। एंड वन सेकेंड, there are Hindus, Adivasis sitting in areas where you do not even know, आपको वो जगह के नाम नहीं पता होंगे, तो वो हिंदूज नहीं है क्या? उनके साथ कुछ हो रहा है तो आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा। बट आपका प्रॉब्लम हिंदू से नहीं है, आपको चाहिए डोमिनेशन, आपको डोमिनेट करना है, वो आपका मुद्दा है। और जब आप डोमिनेट करना चाहेंगे बॉस, नहीं जमेगा मेरे साथ। डोमिनेट मत करिए किसी को, सबका इक्वल कंट्री है, सब साथ मिलकर रहिए, प्यार से रहिए। I will say this as many times I have to say this, guys. प्यार से रहो। क्राइम है, क्राइम है, क्राइम को देखने के लिए एक सिस्टम है, वो सिस्टम काम नहीं करेगा तो उसको देखने के लिए हम लोग वॉचडॉग्स हैं। हम लोग काम नहीं करेंगे तो आप लोग हमें बेइज्जत करिए। पर ये एक अलग मुद्दा आप लोग कहां से निकाल के लाए यार? हिंदू मुस्लिम, हिंदू मुस्लिम, हिंदू खतरे में है, मुस्लिम को ये कर दिया। अरे क्या हो गया है? क्यों? What is this point? What is this nonsense? आप लोग को दिख तो रहा है ना क्या हो रहा है आज की डेट में? आज की डेट में मैसेजेस भेजे जा रहे हैं व्हाट्सएप पे कि इन लोगों से जिनका नाम मुस्लिम है, इनसे खाना लेना, इनसे फल लेना बंद कर दीजिए। क्यों भैया, क्यों बंद कर दे? ये क्या? What is this propaganda? अच्छा, one of the other journalists have joined in. Her name is Vandana. She's another super brilliant writer and a journalist. Please guys follow her work as well. So she has just recently done an article on what what these people who have an extreme radicalized mindset, what are they being fed on social media? इनको क्या पढ़ाया जा रहा है? इनको झूठ, इनको कोई पोस्ट है, and literally we faced this, we saw this in Jahangirpuri and we started laughing. They are being peddled misinformation. कोई बांग्लादेश का पोस्ट दिखा दिया यहाँ पे कि देखो मुस्लिम कैसे मार रहे हैं हिंदू को, और वो पागल हो गया वो आदमी, कह रहा अरे इस तरीके से हमारे देश में हो रहा है, हम काट देंगे, मार देंगे। See, it's as simple as that. So can't you guys see, can't you guys open your eyes and see what is happening? Come on guys, आप लोग सब लोग इतने बढ़िया लोग हैं, थोड़ा तो दिमाग यूज करिए और प्यार करिए।
Can you hear me? There's a question from Costa Paul. Bengal poll violence. Do you think it got sufficient coverage in national media?
Every news channel went after Mamata Banerjee government's, completely after them as far as the Bengal violence is concerned. One of our very good reporters, Shreyasi, please guys do follow her work. Shreyasi has been constantly reporting on the Bengal poll violence. I was one of the first persons, not one of the first person, I was just one of the persons who criticized, who bashed Mamata Banerjee for not being able to take a stand in her own state. And I was one, and I remember a lot of people saying that, oh तुम्हारी तो favorite है ये है, तुम बंगाली है वो ये। Again guys, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा। हाँ तो बंगाली है तो इसका मतलब रिश्तेदार थोड़ी ना है हमारी ममता बनर्जी। वो अगर अपने स्टेट में, you guys should go and see one of the stories I did from West Bengal, from Mamata Banerjee's constituency Nondigram. People still drink water from कुएं का जो पॉन्ड का जो पानी होता है, तालाब का जो पानी जिसमें कीड़ा होता है, लोग अभी भी वो पानी पीते हैं। I did that story. I brought the story out. That story ran on Rajdeep Sir Desai show on India Today, and I stood outside. So there was a meeting of TMC ministers which was going on in West Bengal in Calcutta. मेरे को घुसने नहीं दिया था, मैं उनके ऑफिस के बाहर खड़ी थी for 6 hours that you have to come, you have to accept कि आप लोग की सरकार है वेस्ट बंगाल में, फिर भी लोगों के पास पीने का पानी भी नहीं है। आप एक्सेप्ट करिए अपनी गलती आकर और आप मानिए। So we are not against any particular government. और सरकार से तो हमारा कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है। गलत हो रहा है जहां पे हो रहा है उसके लिए दिखा रहे हैं। बॉम्बे में दिखा दिया, महाराष्ट्र सरकार के जो गलत हो रहा था उनको होल्ड अकाउंटेबल किया। यूपी में हाथरस हुआ, यूपी सरकार को होल्ड अकाउंटेबल किया। कोई ऐसी चीज है जो सेंटर के अंडर आती है, उनको होल्ड अकाउंटेबल कर रहे हैं। वेस्ट बंगाल में ममता बनर्जी को होल्ड अकाउंटेबल किया, छत्तीसगढ़ में भूपेश बघेल को। आपको और क्या चाहिए हमसे? I am a Hindu, I am a proud Hindu. Though I am a agnostic, I do not believe in idol worship or do not believe in one particular god. But guys, come on. I am not against any human being.
Paul has another question for you. Here's a follow-up question for you. Do you follow any right-wing personality whose views and perspectives you appreciate?
Any right wing, left wing करके तो मैं पहली बात तो मैं follow ही नहीं करती हूँ. But मुझे ना it's a little turn off for me when people are being people are just just how should I say, I only follow those people who I feel are very honest. All the names I just took, all of them, आप उनका काम देखिए, आप खुद कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे कि ये कौन सा विंग है. कोई विंग नहीं है ये लोग. Those are the only people I follow. Now, I follow a lot of other people. I really respect Rahul Pandita sir. Rahul Pandita is a Kashmiri Pandit who writes what I feel, who जो ऐसी चीजें लिखते हैं जो सच है. Lot of people categorizes him as right wing. Lot of people say that he's a sympathizer or he's completely right wing. I do not believe in that. I really respect him and I'm a huge fan of his work. In fact, ऐसा कोई right wing इंसान तो पता नहीं कि मतलब कि जो I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong. Navika ma'am, huge respect for her. Again, she's one of the persons who work with Times Now, Prime Time. उन्होंने अभी घर तोड़ा जा रहा था जहांगीरपुरी क्लैशेस के बाद. Coincidentally, जहांगीरपुरी क्लैशेस के एक दिन बाद ही suddenly MCD को realize हुआ that demolition drive है, वो भी जहांगीरपुरी में ही. So सारा इलीगल कॉलोनीज दिल्ली में जहां से 70-80% इलीगली कॉलोनीज हैं, वहां एमसीडी को सडनली रियलाइज हो गया दैट आज हमें जहांगीरपुरी में जहां क्लैशेस हुआ है वहीं जाके बुलडोजर चलाना है. सो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. बट एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, वोंट यू एम्पैथाइज विद पीपल जिनका इतना छोटा सा घर तोड़ा जा रहा है? नाविका मैम रोट ऑन ट्विटर दैट सेल ऑफ बुलडोजर इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. हमको एक्सपोर्ट कराना पड़ेगा, इंपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा बुलडोजर. Isn't that cheap? Isn't that absolutely cheap as a human being to say this? So even if she is right wing, left wing, north wing, south wing, does not matter. For me, in my opinion, मेरी नजरों में आपकी इज्जत नहीं है क्योंकि आप एक अच्छे इंसान नहीं है. आप कोई भी विंग होइए, आप अच्छे इंसान, और सबसे अच्छे इंसान की सबसे एक अच्छी बहुत क्वालिटी होती है. नाउ आई थिंक आई एम प्रीचिंग, बट आई डोंट वांट टू प्रीच. यजुर, आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बेस्ट क्वालिटीज व्हिच आई एम आल्सो इनकलकेटिंग, यू नीड टू हैव रूम फॉर अदर पीपल्स ओपिनियन. आप सुनिए, आप भड़किए मत, दूसरों का पर्सपेक्टिव अंडरस्टैंड करिए. कोई बात नहीं, हो सकता है आपको मेरी बात गलत लग रही है तो आप मुझे जान से थोड़ी ना मार डालोगे, आप मुझे रेप थ्रेट थोड़ी ना भेजोगे. You can't attack a journalist. You can't shoot the messenger. We are just doing our work, guys. Even if your perspective do not match with the other perspective, say it. Do not threat. Do not. And that's why I do not hold the people responsible. They are just puppets. वो लोग अपने उनको बेवकूफ बनाया जा रहा है, वो लोग बन रहे हैं. Actual players, वो लोग असली खिलाड़ी. उनके आप किसी भी प्रोटेस्ट में, आप किसी भी दंगे फसाद में किसी भी मिनिस्टर के बच्चों को नहीं देखेंगे आप, क्योंकि उनके बच्चे अच्छे यूनिवर्सिटीज में पढ़ रहे हैं, अच्छी डिग्रीज ले रहे हैं, प्लम पोस्टिंग्स ले रहे हैं. बाकियों के बच्चों में हिंदू खतरे में है बोल के इनको डंडा और हाथ में स्वॉर्ड पकड़ाना है, हाथ में तलवार पकड़ाना और भड़काना है कि भाई जो मुस्लिम देखे उसको जाके गला काट दो. अच्छा सर, आप क्यों नहीं आते हो, आप क्यों नहीं काटते हो? नहीं, हम नहीं काटेंगे, आप काटो. हम इसको क्यों नहीं बोल पा रहे? किससे डर रहे हैं हम लोग? और मुझे तो बहुत एक्चुअली I should be really scared of this life that tomorrow things will be put out of context, then somebody is going to say that I am this, I am that, I'm anti-national, this or that. But doesn't matter यार. I mean really, कितना हो गया? अब तो बहुत साल हो गया. 8 साल से हम यही देख रहे हैं. 8 साल से I am into this fraternity, this profession, this business, and I have been doing, I swear on the job I have, I swear on the only mother I have been doing this job to the best of my capabilities, with absolute honesty. अगर मेरे दिमाग में 1% आता है ना कि तनुश्री अब तुम बायस हो रही हो, मैं छोड़ देती हूँ वो स्टोरी, या तो मैं जाके बैठती हूँ, अपना बायस हटाती हूँ और फिर मैं शुरू करती हूँ काम. तो आप लोग मुझे आप लोग के बोलने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, मैं खुद उस दिन अपनी नौकरी, आई विल लीव जर्नलिज्म द डे आई एम बायस्ड गाइज, आई विल लीव जर्नलिज्म. Because for me, it's not getting me anywhere, it's not getting me anything. It's the profession I love. It's my passion. I love journalism. I love this profession. I really feel that we are the fourth pillar of democracy and we should keep it like that.
Okay, there is a very quick question. What about Khargone violence?
Khargone, yes, Khargone is an MP. Khargone में violence हुआ था, Khargone में clashes हुए थे. Again, guys, one of our reporters, Bismita Skin, she has done excellent work. She has done a couple of stories. See, I was not on the ground. I was not there on the ground. So the only opinion I could also form with the kind of stories, absolutely unbiased stories, our reporter went and did. So, देखिए, ये जो clashes है ना, मेरा तो पूरा मकसद है आपको ये बताना कि ये जो clashes हो रहे हैं ना, और I am doing, okay, let me just put this out. I have just done a story on the psyche of the kids who were given swords. I am also doing a story of the psyche of the kids who pelted stones. तो दोनों तरफ का बच्चों का क्या साइकी है, मेरी ये बात समझिए. जब भी कोई क्लैशेस होता है, राइट्स होता है, एक तरफ की गलती नहीं होती है, दोनों तरफ की गलती होती है. पुलिस उसमें एक तरफ इन्वेस्टिगेट करेगी, बट हमको ये समझना जरूरी है कि वो उस वहां तक पहुंचाया किसने. आज आप एक राइट्स को, यू कैन नॉट जस्ट गिव राइट्स टू अ राइट इन वन डे. You know, it's an amalgamation of a lot of things. It's mostly orchestrated. बहुत चीजें बन के धीरे आते एक दिन वो लावा फटता है. So you really have to understand that who is benefiting from pitting Hindus and Muslims against each other. People who have been living in this country for time immemorial with love and harmony and peace. Why are those people fighting? कौन ला रहा है उनमें नफरत, ला क्यों रहा है? मुझे नहीं पता पहले किसने शुरू किया, पहले किसने पत्थर मारा, या पहले किसने किसको प्रोवोक किया, या पहले किसने चाकू उठाया या बंदूक दिखाई. मेरा तो मैटर ये है कि ये हुआ ही क्यों. बिकॉज somebody is constantly you know, जिसको बोलते हैं प्रोवोकेशन, जिसको बोलते हैं भड़काना, कोई ये नफरत सिस्टम में डाल रहा है. somebody is injecting hate within us. Now you guys are all adults to decide who can benefit from pitting Hindus and Muslims against each other, or just human beings against human beings.
In your job, do you ever feel the pressure by your employers to write with a from a certain perspective? Like when you report a story, are you ever told कि आप इसको थोड़ा change कर दो, this is too harsh, this is too strong, maybe you should make it a bit neutral or make it a bit more provocative? Do you ever get that kind of in any of your jobs as a journalist from your employer?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, 200% yes. I've worked in TV. There is a huge censorship there. We have to toe the government's line. But see, I couldn't work there. That's why I left. Because there was too much.
But when you do print stories, you don't feel your stories get edited?
Absolutely not. I am saying this with absolute, I am saying this with 200% certainty. And आप लोगों को इसमें कुछ गलत मिलता है, take me to court there and then. The organization I'm working with right now, Shekhar Gupta is the manager, is the head person there. He and I can have different opinions. He and I can have different point of views. But he, as a boss, has never, ever stopped me from reporting on anything. He, as a boss, have never come to me and told me that, Tanushree, this is a little harsh, can you change the language? Or he has never come to me or butchered my writing or butchered my stories. Never. He has only asked me one thing, Tanushree, you are not the story, you are reporting on a story. So you are not the person. Don't become a story. You are reporting on a story. Secondly, do not hide any fact. Doesn't matter आपको एक दिन लग जाए, 4 दिन लग जाए स्टोरी में, पर ऐसी स्टोरी निकालो जिसमें सारे फैक्ट्स, सब कुछ आंखों के सामने हो. जो चीजें लोगों को नहीं भी दिख रही हैं, वो भी आप निकाल के लाइए. पर I can say this with absolute, and I'm very happy, very happy to be working with such an organization which is completely democratic. And I think hats off and kudos to Shekhar Gupta for creating a democratic newsroom. But TV is definitely, I had the pressure. We were being told a lot of times to toe the government's line, and we were under attack. Even during Hathras that happened. Even after Hathras, I was because the kind of attacks I was facing. So yes, the channel also asked me to sort of, back off and step back and toe the government's line, which eventually I did not, and I left.
It's been
Because for me, channels and nobody, organization आएंगे, organization जाएंगे. Profession वही है और profession वही रहेगा. Journalism is the fourth pillar of democracy. Journalism is going to stay the fourth pillar of democracy. I know we have created a lot of mistrust amongst people. लोग हम पे भरोसा नहीं करते आज के डेट में. उसमें हम ये deserve करते हैं. हम आपका hate भी deserve करते हैं. But I know there are journalists and there always will be journalists who will stand, who are going to make sure that the ethics and morals of this profession are absolutely intact. If there is an Arnab Goswami, there is a Ravish Kumar also.
Tanushree, it's been 2 hours of absolutely pleasure, great conversation with you. I had a really good time. It was a real pleasure. And I have to say, I really admire your candor and your courage. I think our democracy is going to remain very robust if we have reporters like you. So thanks a lot for joining us. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you so much, Yajur. Thank you. This was much needed. I really appreciate. And you have been an amazing host. So thank you for that. And really, it was an honor to be, to be here. So thank you for having me.
There are still questions rolling in, but I'm going to just forward them your way. We can't.
मुझे सवाल आप लोग Instagram पे भेज दीजिए. But again, guys, any nonsense I'm not going to take. So start with love. Approach me with love, and I'm all there, guys.
Okay, everyone should note here is a no nonsense lady. Thanks a lot, Tanushree. This was a pleasure. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.